What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Couple Things
with Shawn and Andrew,
a podcast all about couples and the things they go through.
Today, we sit down with what I thought was one of our most fun conversations.
Yes. Maybe our favorite people. I mean, I feel like we say that every single episode, but I feel like with every episode, we just get new friends, and I get really excited.
I was having a blast. PK Subban and Lindsey Vonn took the time to talk with us. And not only did we laugh a lot, yes, but I thought they had some really good, insightful words of wisdom as far as relationships as well.
They did. Newly engaged, which is super exciting. They have some interesting stories around that.
Yeah, they did it in a non-conventional way, for sure.
But if you don't know who Lindsey Vonn is, multi-time Olympic medalist, which includes golds. I mean, she's a boss. Alpine skier. She has over 82 World Championship medals.
82?
82.
Oh my gosh.
82.
PK, sorry, when I'm about to do your resume right now, it's going to pale in comparison.
PK, your fiance is a boss.
But PK Subban is one of the NHL's top defensemen. He actually won the award for top defenseman.
Amazing.
He tied for the top scoring defenseman. We were really excited because PK and Lindsey first kind of started the relationship while he was playing for the Nashville Predators, which is where we live in Nashville. But now he is no longer with us. He's in New Jersey with the Devils.
Powerhouse couple.
Yes.
So much fun. Had such good insight. Maybe our new best friends if they want to be.
But we not only respect their careers, but also they're really involved with charity efforts. And if you guys want to find out more about PK and Lindsey, you can find their information in the show notes down below. And if you haven't, before we jump into it, please rate the show and subscribe to it on whatever platform you're listening to. And let's go ahead and jump into this. Let's enjoy it with PK and Lindsey.
Let's do it.
I don't think there's anything better than two strapping young lads like you or myself talking relationships, dude. Let's do it.
And then I like the hair, though, by the way. I do like the hair.
Thank you.
It looks so much better.
It's like really long. Like
it was getting like Joe Dirt-ish.
Okay, Lindsey, can I be on the left side? Because it's my better side.
All right, Lindsey, PK, thank you for taking the time to sit down with us on our Couple Things podcast. No words. Okay.
We're happy to be here. Hold on. Well, Lindsey, Lindsey invited me to come on with her. So I'm like, Lindsey, he does that. You got to take the lead here. Come on.
Well, I don't know. You're the guest.
It's the quarantine. We're all
You're the man of the house. You're supposed to he always
that's
saying,
Come on.
in the house.
That's on me. I'll take responsibility for that.
You kind of left it like hanging.
I definitely did. Yeah. I want to tell a story because we always start off these episodes asking couples how they met. And so I want to set the scene. ESPYs 2015. Okay. Shawn and I are standing there on the red carpet and I'm looking around. We're about to get engaged like the next week. Okay. I knew this in the back of my head.
We'd been dating for 3 years already.
There's a lot of beautiful women walking around. And so we go to dinner afterwards, and I say, Shawn, I just gotta let you know. Actually, we met Lindsey there. Do you remember this?
No.
At the ESPYs?
At the ESPYs, okay.
It was a long time
ago.
ago.
Matsuhisa? Was it at Matsuhisa?
I don't know what that word is.
It was at LA Live.
Dude, amazing sushi. If you've never been, I've been there.
Yeah, no, Matsuhisa is amazing.
Unbelievable sushi, Matsuhisa. But
we're big sushi people. Okay, carry on. So here we are. After the event, we're sitting at dinner, and I'm like, Shawn, I just got to let you know that, we're around a lot of beautiful women today, and I've been thinking about
sleeping with other women.
Which was not the right thing in retrospect.
Starting off very well.
I love this. I like this podcast.
I was literally but I don't even care if you think that. Don't say it. And we were dating at the time, and I was like, hell no.
Oddly enough, I meant well, but I bring that story up because I think the ESPYs plays a big role in when you two met. If you could,
this is a very odd parallel.
I'm feeling good right now. I'm excited to be sitting here. Could you set the scene for when you guys first met?
Okay, well, hold on. Which version do you want? Because there's two versions of it. There's my version, and then there's Lindsey's version. So
how about both?
I'm drinking Chardonnay. Never drank this stuff in my life. We're feeling good tonight.
Kind of bougie.
What?
It sounds very feminine.
I want the version that you want to first tell, PK.
You want me to go first, or would you like to? Okay, I'll tell you the 150% truth version
Okay.
of how it
Nervous and excited.
Man truth.
So I'm going to try to cut it a little bit short, but with all the details. So it was end of the season. I was playing my first year in Nashville.
We could take up the whole time.
No. I'm going to try to keep this under a minute. So
Wow.
it was my first season in Nashville. We went to Stanley Cup Finals. We lost in Game 6 to Pittsburgh. I just signed with WME. So Jill Smoller, who's my manager there, who represents Serena Williams, who's represented Pete Sampras, some very, 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 very high-praised athletes in the past, decided for whatever reason to take me on as a client. So I had never done the SBs or that whole kind of athlete kind of amusement park that they do during the SB time, where they have like the Nickelodeon SBs, like all that stuff.
We don't need so much foreplay. Just like go right to the.
Hold on. So I got to tee it up so that you guys understand the context of it. So
Yeah. Okay.
anyway, Jill tells me, PK, come out to LA after, whatever. So like a week and a half later, I go out to LA, get there. It's SBs. I'm there with like 3 of my buddies. So I'm just there to kind of have a good time. I'm single. I'm not seeing anybody. So long story short, on the way there, my buddies are like, hey, dude, have you looked at the list of people that are going to be there? I'm like, no, I haven't looked at anything. He's like, oh, like you haven't checked out like any of the girls that are going to be there or anything. I'm like, no, not really. Like it's my first time being there. I get on the red carpet. I'm about to do this interview with Hannah Storm from ESPN.
You had a cocktail.
I did have 2 cocktails at the Waldorf Astoria. Just down the street. I
You
had 1
have
or 2
to.
cocktails.
You have to.
I'm not gonna
Okay,
lie.
we're at 3 minutes, PK.
Exactly.
Hold on, I'm gonna wrap it up tight. I'm gonna bring it around. Remember, this is the truthful version, so I can take a little bit
I
extra
love
time.
it. I love it.
So get on the red carpet, like literally 30 seconds before I'm about to do my interview. I look up at the screen. You know, the SBs, they have the screens on the red carpet of who's coming up next.
Yes.
Right.
And it's Lindsey, and she's wearing this black dress. Looks unbelievable.
It
Right?
was incredible.
Unbelievable.
I saw it.
I'm like, wow. I'm like, Lindsey Vonn looks awesome. And the only thing I knew about Lindsey at the time was really that she won a gold medal in Vancouver, because I'm Canadian. So I watched the Olympics in Vancouver, and I saw her win gold there. And I knew that she was a good skier, but I didn't know really anything about her. Didn't know where she was from, nothing. So I was like, I get on the red
Lindsey
carpet.
Vonn, a good skier.
Yep. Then Hannah Storm goes to me, goes, PK, it's 107 degrees outside. It's sweltering hot. You got this 3-piece suit on. PK, tell us how you're feeling right now. I'm like, well, Hannah, it's hot out here, but I can tell you something right now. It's not as hot as Lindsey Vonn looks. And then Hannah Storm came right at me. She's like, Lindsey's a very classy girl. Long story short, Lindsey caught wind of it. Comes down the red carpet, like fumes coming out of her head, because she was dating somebody at the time who happened to be with her. So she's coming down the red carpet.
Awkward.
Yep. And then, do you want to tell me what happened from there? I'll let you speak.
Oh, you didn't want me. You wanted to take up 10 minutes to tell the story.
Well, that was a minute and a half on my watch.
Yeah,
I went 30 seconds.
I was on the red carpet, and I hear, like, because he's on like the live jumbotron, and I hear him giving this interview, and I'm like,
Oh, the interview is over the jumbotron.
He's like, this guy's
power
hot.
play.
He's
no,
handsome.
I did not think that. I was dating someone at the time.
Oh.
And my boyfriend's like, who is that? I'm like, I have no idea. And then I walk down the carpet, and I see my friend, Jill, who's his agent. And I'm like, Jill, this is your client that you've been telling me about? I'm like,
good job, PK.
you need to keep a muzzle on this guy. And I was pissed. I'm like, what's wrong with you?
And you remember what I said?
You're like,
I dropped the tone of my voice. Hold on. I dropped the tone of my
had to
voice.
say the truth. I just had to tell the truth. And you look beautiful and blah, blah, blah.
Came with the Barry White voice, just dropped it way, way down. Said, hey, listen, I'm just the truth.
So,
You look great. You look
yeah.
great.
So
Dude, I'm not-
on live TV.
You got a smooth voice. You could definitely pull that off, PK, for sure.
Well,
Wait, okay,
and then
so
I got to give Lindsey credit, though. Even though I put it out there, Lindsey didn't. It was really Lindsey's sister that hooked us up because Lindsey wasn't really trying to show anything.
Well, I mean, that's such a great introduction, you know. Like, I would not just be so, wanting to hang out with them. I was like, who's this arrogant asshole? You know, like that's what I thought. And then
this guy right here.
And then I thought he was hitting on my sister. Meanwhile, he's
PK.
trying to get in with my sister to get to me.
I had to work the sister angle because she was tied up already. So I just basically worked the sister angle to plant the seed. And then my manager,
it's smart.
A couple months later, reached out to me and said, just dropped it in the conversation. Was like, oh yeah, and by the way, Lindsey's single. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah. And then I reached out to Lindsey, and rest is history.
A couple things. First of all, I watched the interview that happened with the exchange with Hannah Storm. She totally shut you down. She's like, Lindsey's she's such an icon for females. And, she like totally redirected it from like she looks good too.
I backtracked. I had to backtrack.
You're like, oh yeah, that too. But it was hilarious.
Second thing, off the ice as well.
Oh yeah.
The second thing. Lindsey, unless this is my perspective, unless a woman is engaged or married, fair game.
Yeah,
absolutely. I don't care if you're walking the red carpet with the boyfriend.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. And I mean, that one wasn't going to work out anyway. So it was like,
shoot your shot.
Shoot it.
Wait, so
I think everyone knows that he shot it. Yeah.
How long after that boyfriend ended did you hear?
We started talking. So I broke up with him, and like within a few weeks we were talking. So that was like from the time from the time we met until the time we talked, it was like 4 months.
So did the first impression actually leave an impression?
He had to actually work to overcome the introduction.
Okay.
You know what? I will say this.
He was in the doghouse, and I'm like, I'm not going to give you the time of day. But my sister was like, no, trust me, he's really nice. Because, of course, he made friends with my sister.
I mean, that's really smart.
Sneaky devil. I know.
Like your most trusted person.
True. But so our first date, after like 2 months of talking on the phone.
It was longer than that. Because I remember every day it was a battle. Because we talked
every day was a battle.
And after like 2 or 3 weeks of talking, I'm like, I want to see her. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And she was skiing overseas. I was playing. So we literally talked from like
October, like mid-October.
Mid-October and then Christmas Day was the first day that I saw her.
That was our first date. Christmas Day.
On Christmas?
Really?
Flew into Colorado in a snowstorm, like, the kind of cheesy classic story. Opened the door, and he's like dressed in his like YSL jacket with his hat. And he's like,
I came strong.
He's like, smells good. And then my dad's there, and I'm like, oh.
Can you give him a play-by? Hold on, you give him a play-by-play.
He literally walked into like the Lion's Den on the first date, and my dad comes up to him, and he's like, shakes his hand.
He goes like this.
He's like, nice mitts. Those are some big mitts.
Those are some big mitts you got there.
What?
Okay. And
didn't shake your hand. He just went.
I love Big Al. I think Big Al is a character. I love him. But it was definitely worth it.
It was intense.
Yeah, I flew into Denver, and my flight from Denver to Vail was canceled, so I had to get like a driver to drive me to
Uber. It was Uber.
It was the worst weather ever, dude.
That's normal.
Horrible.
That's normal.
Horrible, but it was worth it.
I love this. When's your rom-com coming out? Like the, you guys need your own Netflix rom-com version of this story.
We should do something, but.
Yeah. Wait, so did you say Big Al? Al's your dad?
My dad's.
So did he give you the approval on day one?
No.
I wouldn't go. Whoa. I wouldn't go that far. But I wouldn't go that far.
My dad he's a lawyer, so like he's always very opinionated, but also reserved and dramatic. So like he has long pauses in his sentences. Oh, wow. So you're just like, he keeps you waiting. Like he really like draws everything out. And I think he approves of PK now, but we're still, on the fence. So.
We're
Hold
still
on.
working it.
In Big Al's defense, before he's a lawyer, he's a father. And I don't care what anybody says. If
Yeah.
I was a father and someone was coming to take my first daughter, I would, so I mean, I get it. I've seen both of my sisters.
But my dad's tough. Like my dad is.
Yeah, but I don't mind Big Al. Big Al, he's good with me. He's good
It's
with
okay. We've been married 4 years. My dad's still on the fence.
What the heck?
I'm kidding.
Honestly,
I'm kidding. I love you. He loves you.
I love this story though, because Lindsey, it's got to be endearing to you that PK went to such effort to make that first date happen.
Well,
Christmas Day.
That was overcoming the first impression, right? So like
Yeah.
he had to step it up. I was like, I don't know, this guy seems kind of arrogant. Like he seems like, I don't know who he really is. And then, he swooped
When
in.
did you know? When did you think he's cool?
Christmas Day. Yeah, it was good. Yeah. It's a good day.
I think both of us were kind of like I think after about 3 or 4 weeks of like talking, it was more so about when we get together, what it was going to be like. Cause you just don't know, right? Like think about it. Christmas Day was the second time that we had seen each other.
That was like the third.
Well,
we had the kids' choice.
we had the kids' choice, but that's like, I don't call that one thing. Cause it's like 72 hours where we were like bumping into each other, but at events, but not really like hanging out. So like Christmas Day was like the second time that we had really hung out. So I almost think that was better that we spent that much time talking, because I learned so much about her in that time,
So what was it about Lindsey, PK, that made you want to take a 3-hour Uber through a snowstorm just to make that magic happen?
It's a great question, because she hates the answer to this question. She absolutely hates it. But first and foremost, the thing was about going into the ESPYs is I went in with an open mind about everything, about the whole, first of all, the show. I knew
wearing a green suit,
wearing a green suit. I had a cameo, like I had a cameo at the show. Like I had a cameo in the show. So I was excited, but I was just kind of taking it all in. So, I didn't have any expectations. So for everybody, I was just kind of in observing mode. So I was just observing everything. And I remember after the ESPYs, when we had the Kids' Choice, we were all in the green room. And it was actually Klay Thompson was in there. Strahan was in there.
Just casual name drop. That
was a low. Yeah, that was definitely.
There's a couple. What I'm saying is,
but he wrote it, and I was like,
hold on. There's a lot of people in there. Just a lot of people. And there was Lindsey and Karen that were her sister Karen, that were kind of off to the side. So Jill knew that from the ESPY, she knew where my head was at, right? My manager knew where my head was at. And, it was always about just connecting with Lindsey, just talking. So when we got into that green room, I was just watching her interact with her sister, and I was talking a little bit here and there. But when I saw her interact with her sister, it reminded me of how my sisters interact, because I have 2 older sisters,
which
too.
is weird. Like, I feel like that's a weird.
It's not weird because
weird.
No, it's not.
I remind you of your sisters.
No, it's not. Because you have to think about this. Clearly, me seeing that the next day was not what I was thinking when I saw her on the red carpet. We all know what I was thinking on the red carpet. I mean, we don't have to spell that out. But to see that connection with her sister, then I started to kind of look at her. Then I was looking at her differently. It wasn't just about her being beautiful and being dressed well and obviously being stunning. It was more of like, oh, cool. She's actually down to earth. She's family oriented, all these things.
But what I found out when I saw him at Kids' Choice was that, wow, Jill, his agent, really is a great agent, because I don't know how the hell she got him on the show. It was funny. I loved it. I was like, Jill, like, wow, you're better than I thought. Who is this guy?
PK, listen, bro. Listen, we're in the same boat here. These girls have a funny way of taking the sweet things that we say and then absolutely running into them with like sarcasm.
That was a good right hook. But you want to know something? I'm going to tell you what I had, Lindsey. Okay? I'm going to tell you something. Okay. Listen, we always got to clap back, and I'm going to clap back. So the show starts, and we were playing musical chairs.
Okay.
Does this ring a bell, Lindsey?
Yes.
Or what? Do you want to continue? Why don't you tell the
can go.
rest? No, I would like you to tell.
I'll tell it. I'll tell it in half the
Go,
time.
go right ahead.
Oh, I didn't know Lindsey was with us actually today. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, my man. Exactly. Go ahead, Lindsey.
We played musical chairs, and like he totally let me beat him, which was
Oh,
Really?
what?
he like gave me his
Okay.
chair. We like had this. We were trying to sit down in the same chair, and he like kind of sneakily gave it to me.
Wow.
Wait, two
friend.
super
But
competitive people.
once I found out that he let me win, I was super pissed because I'm like,
I would be
don't want you
pissed.
to let me win. Like I would be fair and square.
Okay, but you see this? Do you see the competitiveness, right? You see the
Oh,
competitiveness.
absolutely.
It's
Sure.
it had to click
Shawn,
later.
are you that competitive?
Oh, we race up the stairs. Everything we do in our house determines who the better athlete is.
No, it's just.
But you also know who the better
So
athlete
how did you guys meet?
All right, wait. Let me say this. So we were doing research on you, and article came across of like a list of power athlete couples, and so both of us were on it, both of our couples, and you guys were ranked above us. And then I was thinking,
I want to know.
who was number one?
Yeah, who was number one?
I think it was like Russell and Sierra was on there, but Sierra's not an athlete.
No, she's not an athlete.
Hold
But
on,
still-
we gotta so
still a
the whole
power
thing's
athlete.
invalidated. But anyway, obviously it's definitely me that brings our duo down.
Oh, shut it.
As the long snapper.
Whatever.
No, I think you guys are both equally
Same,
awesome.
dude. I'm in your boat.
Wow.
You know,
You got, all of a sudden you're
82
just
World Cup victories. I can't really. I mean, I can't even stand on skis.
You
So.
and Horace Sophie, that was nice.
wow, that was really sweet that they both stood up for me there. And you
Yeah.
didn't though.
No.
You didn't.
I'm kidding. You're an amazing athlete. Anyways, moving on. We met. I was working. I retired right
Oh,
before.
you're amazing too.
I tried to make 2012 Olympics, but then got hurt, retired. I was
You
working.
got hurt skiing, no?
You literally, yeah,
Embarrassing.
on a freaking green.
Embarrassing.
Oh, right?
Yeah,
I heard
Yeah.
it. I heard about it when you did it. I
Yeah.
was actually like in
Yo, is
town.
Lindsey
I was like,
low-key
oh
a
my
super
God.
fan?
yeah, it was terrible.
Is Lindsey low-key like a super fan?
Oh, shut it.
I mean, I'm a fan.
I'm a fan of you too.
Super fan.
No, my coach had one rule my entire career. I could do anything I wanted. I just couldn't ski. And of course, right after the Olympics in 2008, I went skiing and took a dumb fall on a green of all places
Happens to the best of us.
and tore everything in my knee. But in 2012, so I tried to like make a comeback after that. And then I had to have 2 more surgeries and whatever. All the knee stuff. Knees suck. I was working at the Olympics and went to a USA Olympic cycling event. Well, his brother was competing and I met his brother at like the USA house and he basically was like, you have to meet my younger brother. You'd be perfect for him.
I didn't know your brother was a cyclist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But PK, you and I, we got the same mentality. Bro, you got to shoot your shot. I started my Twitter account just so I could tweet at her. Then I got her number. Then I flew out to LA to meet her. Again, terrible first impression, similar to you. So it took me 9 months to make up for that. And finally I suckered her back in, but here we are. We're doing it.
Great effort.
You got to shake up the world, dude. You got to shake it up a little bit. You got to shake them up. You got to, you know what I mean?
Lindsey,
him up.
his first impression was I was the idiot who got drunk one night. Sorry. Oops. And I texted him at like midnight and he was living in Nashville. I was living in LA and I was like, you want to fly to Los Angeles? Because we'd never met before. I literally texted him at midnight. Fell asleep, obviously, because I was drunk. Woke up at like 8 a.m. and he was on a flight.
He did it real quick so you couldn't change his mind.
Listen,
Smart.
if you think I'm not going to
freaked
take an
out.
opportunity when I see it, you're wrong. I got to jump. PK gets it. He gets it.
Okay.
You know what?
So,
If you notice, I'm not doing a dance. I know exactly where your head was. I'll play.
All right, hold on. We have to address this since you brought up skiing. I think you guys might have addressed this in your tub time the other day, which, by the way, for those listening, check out. Is it always on Lindsey's Instagram account?
You gotta swap
we
every
just
day.
swap back and forth.
Okay, all right. They do a tub time kind of hangout sesh. Probably find it on YouTube. Hopefully,
Yes.
We'll figure out the details. It's fantastic. But we're talking about skiing, and I don't know about you two, how you navigate this, but there's nothing less enjoyable than trying to go out and hit the slopes when you as a couple are on different
What are you
talent
saying?
levels.
What are you saying?
Skiing. I'm saying I don't like to ski with you, straight up.
I'm like terrified of skiing now.
I have a
since
question
I got
for
hurt.
you guys. It's just a question. I've never done downhill skiing before in my life. I've only ever done cross country, and that was when I was really young. I snowboarded. I've snowboarded twice in my life, and I was actually pretty good at it. I'm not gonna say.
This is the first time I've ever experienced
Hold on.
cross-country.
Well, let's just go ahead and say that I've never skied before.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think it's gonna be like when I hit the slopes with Lindsey post-career? Do you think A, that she's gonna take time to show me and teach me? B, do you think she's gonna partly teach me and partly laugh at me? Or C, do you think that she's gonna completely disregard any teaching and bury me in the snow somewhere and laugh at me?
Let me tell you what I would do. I would choose option C. If I'm on the slopes, I'm
Which
not
he
waiting
did.
around.
He did.
So what happened?
We haven't done it yet, obviously, because I'm not going to let him ski while he's still competing.
Yeah.
Sean,
Obviously.
for example.
Obviously.
Yep.
Case in
but
point, don't do
think
that.
I think to save our relationship, have my brother, who's a ski instructor, teach him
Oh.
so that I don't
No.
kill both of us,
Listen.
or mainly him. And
Just-
then I'll probably have the patience to take a couple runs. But after
Just
I've
do what
already
Andrew
offered
did.
to-
Take you to the top of a black diamond, drop you off, and say, "You got this, babe."
You got
No.
this, babe.
No. You know what she's gonna do though? I'll tell you what she's gonna do. I'm putting everything. I want everything documented on this because when it happens, we're gonna revert right back to this.
Okay.
She's gonna be camped out under a tree somewhere, videotaping everything. Me falling, hitting
Absolutely.
my head,
I don't need to be under
screaming,
a tree.
me
I'll just
crying.
break me
Like she's
open.
gonna have it all on tape, 100%. So
I love that. There's something about skiing though, where like my patience for teaching someone else or like waiting around for them to learn, zero. It's not happening. I don't.
Yeah, I get a little frustrated. I think I get more frustrated with kids when they go just dead weight style, and they're just sitting there around, you
Yeah.
can't help them up, and they're like a worm. Like you can't, they don't stand.
I think I'm gonna be pretty good at skiing. So I don't think it should take.
Okay, so I am curious. World class, as high as it gets, elite athletes in a relationship. How does that work with day-to-day activities? Trying to just work out, trying to just go about your daily life.
Well, it's almost like how do you? Oh, okay.
I think they got it.
I was gonna clarify
They're
the question,
smirking.
but
They're
you got it. Okay.
You want to answer that one, babe?
You can go first.
Being competitive, it is very difficult because I gotta lower my compete level. I'm always competing at everything. Even if, we're even in interviews, we're always competing with each other to get the last word in. And it's not always awesome. So we've something that I have to work on. He doesn't compete with me as much as I compete with him. So it's definitely a work in progress, but
Yeah, listen. It's impossible to have two people that are competitive athletes not butt heads. I would say this, that we probably laugh more now about when we do it than at the start of our relationship. When we first started dating, it was
well, I also had skiing when we first started dating, so that was
Yeah.
my competitive outlet. And then when I retired, I didn't have a competitive outlet, so then I was always on edge,
throttled down. She was throttled down for everything.
just competing all the time. And he's like, "Dude, you gotta stop. We're not."
I'm like, I love
"Yes, we
you.
are."
I'm like, Lindsey, I love you. I love you.
I'm like, "No, you don't.
Well, it's
We're
interesting.
competing right now."
So every morning after I do my workout, I have a tradition, babe.
He goes to his smoothie and supplement cabinet.
Yes.
We have an entirely separate cabinet just for Andrew's supplements. And you mix together a protein shake,
Yes.
a fiber drink,
Yes.
and then your electrolyte drink.
I take electrolytes because I sweat a ton, and I also love the taste of Liquid IV. They're fantastic electrolyte drinks. They say it enhances your hydration. And if you didn't know, my dad every Christmas used to give the kids books about hydration. So it's near and dear to my heart. But
Cool.
what I love more about the product is that they've donated more than 2.5 million servings to date to places like Haiti, Uganda, Puerto Rico, and Nepal. And they're also currently donating to healthcare facilities. Those people are working hard.
And food banks,
Yes.
which is amazing. I
Really
love this
cool.
company. I love their product. For one packet of Liquid IV, it actually delivers as much hydration as like 2 or 3 bottles of water. I actually have a ton of teammates who use it while they compete. It wasn't around while I competed, but I wish it was. And awesome product. It's non-GMO, vegan, free of gluten, dairy, soy, super clean, super effective.
So one common misconception about hydration too is, if you just drink a lot of water, you won't have to worry about hydration. But electrolytes play a huge role in making sure that your muscles and your body actually is able to absorb and effectively use that hydration. So they actually have this kind of patented technology, the cellular transport technology.
Which means it has the optimal ratio of glucose, sodium, and potassium that delivers water and nutrients straight into the bloodstream.
I legitimately love these. They're great for after a night of drinking too much wine with Shawn. They're great for after a workout. They have so many different uses, and I can feel the difference. So you guys can get 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code EASTFAM at checkout. That's 25% off anything you order on Liquid IV's website. Just go to liquidiv.com and enter promo code EASTFAM to save 25% and get better hydration. One more time, that's liquidiv.com, promo code EASTFAM. Don't wait. Start properly hydrating today.
I also want to tell you guys that with all of these products that we love so much, you're pretty much guaranteed to get a discount if you go to any of their websites and use code EASTFAM. We always tell these companies to use the code EASTFAM.
Yes.
So it stays consistent. So
Also-
just remember that.
Also, the links will be in the show notes and description down below too.
Yes. Next, I'm super excited about this one because it's the perfect Mother's Day gift. I actually got it for my mom this year for Mother's Day. I'm hoping maybe Drew will get this for me for Mother's Day.
Is that a subtle hint?
But it's Storyworth. It's super cool. So you go to the website, you kind of get yourself set up, and then you can gift it to someone or you can gift it to yourself, which is really interesting. But you give an email. Once a week, they're going to send you a prompt to that email. So whether it's to your mom or your dad or your grandma or to you, you fill out the prompt, which is memory-based, experience-based, what's the best advice you would give to someone, all these different questions. And then at the end of a year, so you filled out these prompts every week for a year, you can actually turn it into the most beautiful hardback book, which is the most beautiful gift you could ever give to a child or gift to your grandma or gift to a friend. It's just all of these stories throughout life that they want to share with you that you have compiled into one place.
What I love is it asks questions that you might not think to ask yourself. So the first question that your mom's going to get here in about a week is, which fads did you embrace while growing up?
Which I love.
Yeah.
And another really interesting thing is you don't have to do the hardback book, and you can choose to share those prompts every week with whoever you want.
And if you have a question that you want to specifically ask, you can add that into the email that they get. So it's really, really cool. And I think it's an awesome and fun and meaningful way to engage with family, especially if you're remote from any of your family or relatives. It's just a great way to connect with them and have this memoir book that's really special.
It's
A
super
keepsake.
customizable, which is awesome for family and friends and just keeping memories kind of relevant and make it so you don't forget. So if you want to give your mom literally the most meaningful gift this year with Storyworth, get started right away without the need for shipping by just going to storyworth.com/EastFam. Like we always say, EastFam. You'll get $10 off your first purchase. That's storyworth.com/EastFam. $10 off.
Can't wait to hear what you think about it. Yeah, there she is.
Sorry, guys.
Sweetheart.
Welcome, our latest guest, Drew. She has no idea what's going on
The cutest.
whatsoever.
The cutest
Look at
ever.
And I think you'll meet Nash as well. Oh, I was watching. So you guys don't have your dogs with you right now?
No, it's really depressing. We're very sad about it. My brother won't bring him out. I mean, I don't think he can if he wanted to, but still, it's a sore subject.
We're
upset.
We're upset.
That's tough.
Yes.
He's stuck.
Here,
He's stuck on the cars.
Nash is absolutely destroying our setup here. Get up there.
Get up there.
So it's not only the competitiveness, but it's also the ambition and just like the pace of life. I feel like there's a certain amount of sacrifice and humbling of oneself that has to take place in order for there not to be a ton of conflict. You know what I'm saying? Do you guys experience that?
You and I. That's our job. I mean,
I was about
dude, we got to do it. We just have to do it. That's what it is. And you know what? It works. It works. I think for Lindsey,
I think it works 95% of the time. I mean, I'm just like, sometimes I get really stubborn and I just can't lower my compete. But most of the time, he does a really good job of offsetting how like competitive and crazy I am sometimes. It's
always us though. I feel like PK.
Yes. I would agree with you.
I hate to admit, but it's most.
But that's, you know what? That's okay.
It is. It's funny because when I first went into the NFL, like when I was dreaming about it as a kid, I was like, I'm gonna be, to a certain extent, I thought this. I'm gonna be the all-star. Like I'm gonna be the number one like hot shot, and then you marry an Olympic gold medalist and that goes right out nobody cares about my career, which is great.
He did win an Olympic gold medal, even though it was on a team sport. You know, you two in the team sports have your thing. But
is she trying? What is she trying to do?
Exactly.
Hold on. So, hold on. Let me explain.
It's harder.
There's a couple things that Lindsey and I have in common, and then there's obviously some big differences. One thing on the Olympic, yes, I do have an Olympic gold medal, and so does she. But I mean, the one thing with Lindsey, it's like a seesaw. So, we'll go over to Europe sometimes and she'll be shocked because there'll be huge hockey fans there that are European that'll know who I am. And then
it's the Canadians. The Canadians are everywhere. They're like, traveling around Europe and they'll like spot him from a mile away and like run down the street chasing after him.
So it's a balance. It's just interesting to see because I think she's used to seeing that all the time, and I'm used to usually it happening to me all the time. So I think now we're into our relationship long enough now where it is what it is, right? I don't even think we really pay attention to it anymore. But I think when we started dating, it was always interesting to see.
It's kind of awkward.
It is awkward because it's like you're not used to. First of all, I'm not used to being with anybody. I've been single for most of my career, so
allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
How is it? I mean, how is it now being in a relationship in your career? Has that changed?
It is. You know what? I think that it's interesting when it's happened for me, like all coming together because of the fact that my age in the NHL now too is like there's guys on my team that are 18. Like, so I'm also a lot older than most of the young players on our team that are all 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Like the average age in our team is like 22. So it's, I'm at a different part in my career and life than most of the guys on my team. So for me, it doesn't feel weird that way.
But it's changed.
But it's changed. And I think also like, I just know where I'm at in my career too. Like not from a performance standpoint, but from a maturity standpoint. It's like, this is my 11th year. I just finished my 11th year pro. So it's not like, my fun, my days of running around being single are kind of done. So
kind of? No, they're done.
Yeah, they're done. But we always like to hold on to something and keep our individual, but it's gone. I mean, I'm done.
Going to the ESPYs and saying, I'd like to sleep with some other ones. And I was like,
would not recommend that.
Okay. Yeah. Guys, don't do that.
PK, I gotta say, so we live in Nashville, and when I don't know if you hear Drew ripping him over here or not, but she's going to town.
That's so
right
cute.
in the mic. But we were pumped when you two started your relationship. We were like, oh, Shawn and I were like, we got new friends in town, and then you skip town.
Literally,
So
I know. Like as soon as we figured out we were in the same town, I was like, trade.
But I do have to give you a shout out for the $10 million that you raised for. Was it the Canadian Hospital, Children's Hospitals? What was it?
Montreal, yeah, the Montreal Children's Hospital. And, Lindsey's been really nice to help me out with some of our initiatives, especially moving forward. Like we have a couple ideas that we may put into the works. We haven't decided yet, but she's been kind enough to want to use her whole Lindsey Vonnish, self to help us raise money and help us kind of move the needle with my foundation. So,
but yes, he donated $10 million and he's a stud.
Nuts.
That's incredible.
Nuts.
Wait, can I do the questions now?
An atrium in the Children's Hospital.
Wow.
Okay.
And all the kids love him over there. It's really cute.
How often do you guys visit?
He visits all the time. Every time he goes to Montreal when he plays, he goes there. And then
in the summertime
when he has his fundraisers and stuff, he always visits. I mean, it's kind of honestly most of the kids that are still in the that are there full time year round. So he usually sees the same kids every time.
That's what I loved. I think it was in the same interview that you gave Lindsey a shout out. You were talking about how you didn't only donate the funds, but you spent time there as well. And I just very impressed with your perspective and your efforts with that. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, man. And I think also when you have a child as well, you understand the value of people that you count your blessings, to have a healthy baby and to do all that stuff. Cause there's a lot of people out there that don't have those blessings right away. And, but kudos to you guys. Beautiful baby. Nashville's a great spot to be right now, especially during quarantine. Great weather, I would assume.
How you
right
guys didn't get anything happen from the tornado, did you?
Not in our area. No, we were lucky.
Yeah, no, it's been like that happened, and then the next week was when the whole quarantine
happened,
lockdown. So it's been wild here. But,
yeah, and it's been crazy talking about like the children's hospitals. We used to do children's hospital visits all the time, and then
awesome.
Had her, and we did a children's hospital visit when I was like 9 months pregnant.
Yep,
crushed me. Couldn't keep it together. I could not keep it together.
Your perspective changes.
Oh my gosh.
No, a lot of people don't. A lot of my friends actually can't go to the hospital with me because it's just too much for them to see. So, it is tough, but it's like for me, it's different because it's like my duty to go and do that for the kids and the family. So I look at it a little differently than everybody else. But it's great. By the way, I still have my house in Nashville, so there's still a possibility Lindsey and I can pop out.
Yeah, to come visit
anytime.
We have to do game night. We'll get a babysitter. My mom.
Yeah, your mom.
Yes. Okay. These are the questions Andrew was alluding to earlier. They're not hard. But you have to choose who goes first without knowing the question.
PK.
Okay, PK. What is your biggest pet peeve with Lindsey?
Oh man, then I can't believe I'm gonna say this. My biggest pet peeve about her is how beautiful she is. Every day I have to tell her how beautiful she is because she's dropped gorgeous. And even I'm talking about like waking
You're
up.
not getting any brownie
I'm talking about 7 a.m. The alarm goes off. I turn over and I'm like, damn it! I really have to tell her again how beautiful she is.
I love this so
You're not
much.
getting any brownie points. No brownie points.
Hey, listen, I just can't wait till I want to hear what you got to say.
Okay, Lindsey, your biggest pet peeve with PK. You can go a totally different route if you would like.
Oh yeah, she's changing it now.
When he shaves and then he has all of his hair, like he doesn't brush it off.
Everywhere.
And then he sleeps and it's like on the pillow and the sheets. And then like I wake up and there's like hair on my face.
You know what's crazy though, PK? The girls say stuff like that, and then you check the shower drain, and they have 4 pounds of their hair stuck in the drain, and there's no water getting through there.
We can't
You know what I'm saying?
That doesn't actually happen. Like you guys shoot it.
That is such a great point. Like I don't know. I'm so happy he made that point. And Lindsey's got the long hair too.
Our hair
you got.
It's in the drain though. Like the drain is
Exactly.
essentially the trash can.
Exactly.
No,
Or
it's
the
not.
toilet.
No, it's not. Not when you
Okay.
step on
Dude,
it.
you're exactly right.
Part 2 of the question. So now, Lindsey, you have to go first.
Okay.
What is the one thing you love the most about PK?
His positive energy. He's always like positive and spunky and like always makes me laugh. And that's hard to do. Sometimes it's annoying because it's like, okay, you can't always be positive, but I'd say 99% of the time, it's awesome.
Wow. I get those vibes from you, by the way.
Okay,
PK.
PK. What's the one thing you love the most
I
about
would
Lindsey?
say it's Lindsey's heart. She has the biggest heart in the world. And, I think that when you know that someone has the biggest heart and loves everyone and everything and just wants to love and love and love and love, it's so easy to live with somebody like that every day that has a big heart, And I'm a lover myself, but Lindsey has the biggest heart. And I'm sure to be a mother, you got to have a big heart. And she does.
Dang.
Oh, you
You
guys
guys are-
are cute.
you guys are
Okay,
pretty cute.
last question. What is, and you can each answer, what is the best advice you've ever been given or would give about relationships? So whether it's dating, engagement, being married, being in a relationship when it comes to your career, anything.
We know you guys are still engaged, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
The best advice I would give to another couple that's starting out or just a couple in general is that you're always working at your relationship. Like, I think that people think that you get into a relationship and it's just supposed to just work. You got to work at it every day. And that doesn't mean necessarily like it's a job, but you got to pay attention to your partner. They have to pay attention to you, and you want to evolve as well and grow together. So I think you just have to continue to work, work at just getting better and enjoying each other and growing together. It just doesn't happen. Like, people don't wake up one day and they're 50 years into a relationship. Like, they work at it, right? So I just think that you always have to be prepared to continue to work at your relationship every day.
I think that communication is the most important thing because, I think a lot of times people think, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Let it slide. And then eventually it builds up and then you explode and then it becomes a much, much, much bigger problem. And I'm just really not good at communicating. So I think that's one thing that like your partner should make you better, right? I feel like if you're too similar, then you don't grow as people. And so I think one thing that's great about PK is that he's always helping me learn and be a better person. And so part of that is communicating better, which I am working on, but I don't like talking as much as he does, clearly, as we can see from this podcast. PK loves talking. But I'm more of like an introverted, like don't like talking about my feelings kind of person. So
No way. I don't agree with that at all. Since I've been with Lindsey, her communication is great. So it's good enough for me.
Lindsey, we would be remiss if we didn't, yeah, she's going crazy. If we didn't talk about, I'm curious, the motivation or inspiration behind your engagement story is unique in the sense that I believe I have the facts right. Lindsey proposed to PK and you had a quote saying that men deserve or are supposed to have engagement rings too. Tell us about that.
I actually agree with
he asked me
that.
first in August. And then,
Remember the day? August 17th.
Yeah, sure. And then once he asked me, then I had started working on proposing to him. Obviously he knows he's going to say yes, but I always thought it's like, when you look at a woman, you always know if they're engaged or married. It's a ring. It's easy, but he's a professional athlete out there. And people should know that he's
I
out
think they should wear engagement rings for sure.
Okay, so basically what she's saying is that Lindsey came up with a defensive plan of and first step
and it
was,
worked.
Yes.
like Beyonce said, put a ring on it.
Yep.
If you want it, then you put a ring on it. So, Yep.
So everyone's like, oh, we should be equal. And I'm like, okay, well, I like that plan. Let's do that.
Wow.
Amazing.
I like it.
Saw my closet. She saw what type of clothes. She's like, you're not leaving the house with those clothes on and no engagement rings. So
I agree. I did think it was always interesting because the girl does walk around and it's like, oh, she's married or engaged.
Yeah.
And then the guy is like, there's no evidence.
Well, yeah, like girls can hit on guys, and then it's up to them whether they say they're engaged or not.
Uh-huh. Wear the ring.
Yeah. PK, there's
So then, like, really every girl should know about it at this point. That he's dating.
Yes.
well, we were supposed to do this interview an hour and a half before I think the start time that we ended up having was, and now after hearing PK talk, I know why. So no, we really appreciate you guys taking the time, and I'm super thankful for you guys. Have a fantastic perspective. I'm delighted with what you had to say about relationships and how you guys go about yours, and also it's really refreshing the light attitude and I guess the humor that you bring to it as well. So thank you guys for that, and for those of you listening that want to find out more about PK and Lindsey, you can find their information in the show notes down below. Lindsey just had a documentary come out about her on
congratulations.
HBO. And then you can also talk about Project Rock and what you have going on with that.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot going on right now, and I had a project that we were filming, and then it obviously got paused. We were almost finished with it, so I'm working on that, and then finishing up my memoir and working with DJ on Project Rock with Under Armour and
DJ Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
I just love. I mean, all the names to drop.
That was the name
Watch-
drop. There you go.
Then watch a DJ.
Yes.
You know, when you can, drop the rock.
The Rock.
Well, we love you guys. You guys are awesome. If you're ever in Nashville, we have game night. Come join us.
100%. We're in.
Yes.
Thanks for taking the
Good rock.
thanks for taking the time. Talk later.
All right, sounds good, guys.
Bye.